Hello everyone, I'm Ethan Cole, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're exploring one of the most incredible business comeback stories ever told. A company that nearly disappeared, a company that filed for bankruptcy, and a company that eventually built one of the most valuable entertainment empires in history. Today, Marvel is worth billions. Its superheroes are recognized around the world. Its movies have generated enormous revenue, but there was a time when none of this seemed possible. This is the story of Marvel. From bankruptcy to billions. Long before Marvel became a household name, America was falling in love with comic books. These inexpensive magazines offered adventure, fantasy, and excitement. For many children, comic books became a gateway to imagination. Publishers quickly realized there was money to be made. A new industry was being born. Marvel did not begin as the giant company we know today. In its earliest years, it was simply another publisher trying to survive. Resources were limited, competition was fierce, and success was uncertain. Yet the company possessed something incredibly valuable: creativity. One of the most important people in Marvel history was a young man named Stan Lee. At first, his responsibilities were small. Few people imagined he would become one of the most influential storytellers in history. But Stan Lee saw superheroes differently. Most superheroes of the time were nearly perfect. They rarely failed, rarely struggled, and rarely felt human. Stan Lee believed audiences wanted something more relatable. What if heroes had flaws? What if they had fears? What if they faced everyday problems? The answer transformed the comic book industry. In 1961, Marvel introduced the Fantastic Four. Unlike traditional heroes, they argued with one another. They made mistakes and behaved like a real family. Readers loved them. Marvel finally had momentum. Then came a remarkable period of creativity. Spider-Man, the Hulk, Iron Man, Thor, the X-Men. One legendary character after another, Marvel was building an extraordinary library of intellectual property. Among all Marvel heroes, one became especially important: Spider-Man. Peter Parker wasn't wealthy. He wasn't powerful in everyday life. He worried about school, money, relationships. Readers saw themselves in him. And Spider-Man became a global sensation. As popularity increased, Marvel expanded beyond comic books. Licensing, merchandise, television. The company discovered that its characters could generate revenue in many different ways. Marvel was becoming more than a publisher. Ironically, success can create new problems. As Marvel grew, business decisions became increasingly complex. Ownership structures changed. Strategies shifted. Financial risks increased. The warning signs were beginning to appear. During the late 1980s and early 1990s, comic book sales exploded. Collectors rushed into stores. Publishers printed millions of copies. Many believed the boom would last forever. It wouldn't. Eventually, the market collapsed. Sales fell dramatically. Retailers closed. Investors lost confidence. Marvel suddenly faced a financial crisis. The company was running out of options. As revenue declined, debt continued growing. Financial pressure increased. Management struggled to find solutions. The future looked increasingly uncertain. And then the unthinkable happened. Marvel filed for bankruptcy protection. The company behind Spider-Man, the X-Men, and the Hulk was fighting for survival. Many people believed the story was over. They were wrong. Marvel still owned incredible characters, but characters alone could not save the company. Marvel needed cash, it needed leadership, and it needed a bold strategy. A strategy so risky that failure could destroy the company forever. Yet that gamble would eventually transform Marvel into a multi-billion-dollar empire. Marvel was tired of seeing other studios make hundreds of millions from their characters. They decided to stop being just a publisher and start being a studio. It was the ultimate all-in move. Marvel secured a $500 million loan, using the film rights to their remaining characters as collateral. If the movies failed, Marvel would lose their most precious assets forever. The stakes couldn't have been higher. For their first film, they chose Iron Man. They hired director Jon Favreau and cast Robert Downey Jr., who at the time was considered a huge risk by the industry. On May 2, 2008, Iron Man hit theaters. It wasn't just a hit, it was a phenomenon. Marvel had finally arrived. But it was a small scene after the credits that changed everything. Nick Fury telling Tony Stark he was part of a bigger universe. The MCU was born. In 2009, Disney saw the potential. They acquired Marvel for $4 billion. Critics thought they overpaid. They were wrong. The Avengers proved that a shared cinematic universe was the most profitable strategy in Hollywood history. Marvel was now a titan. From the struggle of the 90s to the record-breaking success of Endgame, Marvel's journey is a testament to the power of bold leadership. Marvel went from bankruptcy to billions. A story of creativity, risk, and triumph. By the late 1990s, Marvel had survived bankruptcy, but survival wasn't the same as success. The company still faced enormous challenges. Revenue was weak, investors were uncertain, and nobody knew what Marvel's future would look like. The company possessed some of the most valuable characters in entertainment, yet it was struggling to turn those characters into profits. Marvel needed a miracle. To stay alive, Marvel began selling movie rights to its characters. Spider-Man rights went elsewhere. The X-Men rights went elsewhere. Fantastic Four rights went elsewhere. At the time, it seemed like a smart decision. The company needed cash immediately. And these deals provided it. But Marvel was giving away something extremely valuable: control. Then something unexpected happened. Superhero movies started succeeding. Audiences loved them. Box office numbers grew. Studios made money. Lots of money. Marvel suddenly realized something important. Its characters could become much bigger than comic books. A question started circulating inside Marvel. Why should other studios make billions from Marvel characters, while Marvel received only a small portion of the profits? What if Marvel made its own movies? The idea sounded exciting, but it also sounded dangerous. Marvel wasn't a movie studio, it was a comic book company. Then came one of the boldest business decisions ever made. Marvel decided to create its own movie studio, Marvel Studios. The plan was ambitious, the risk was enormous, and failure could destroy the company. To finance the project, Marvel used its own characters as collateral. If the movies failed, Marvel could lose everything. Marvel wanted to launch a new cinematic universe. But there was a problem. Its most famous heroes were tied up in licensing agreements. Spider-Man was unavailable. The X-Men were unavailable. Fantastic Four was unavailable. Marvel had to work with characters that were still under its control. One of those characters was Iron Man. Today, Iron Man is one of the world's most famous superheroes. But back then, many people considered him a second-tier character. Most audiences barely knew who he was. Many industry experts doubted the project. Marvel was betting its future on a hero that many viewers had never heard of. The pressure was immense, and the future of the company was on the line. Then Marvel made another risky decision. It cast Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark. At the time, some executives were concerned. The actor had experienced personal and professional struggles. Many studios would have chosen someone safer. Marvel chose differently, and that decision changed entertainment history. In 2008, Iron Man was released. The results exceeded expectations. Audiences loved it. Critics praised it. The box office delivered. Marvel finally had proof. Its strategy could work. Then Marvel did something that seemed small at the time. A short scene appeared after the credits. Nick Fury introduced an idea: the Avengers initiative. Most viewers had never seen anything like it before. Movies weren't supposed to connect this way. But Marvel was playing a different game. Marvel wasn't creating individual movies. It was creating an ecosystem. Each film connected to another. Each character supported another. Each story expanded a larger universe. The Marvel Cinematic Universe had begun. Everything led toward one goal: the Avengers. A crossover event involving multiple heroes. The concept sounded risky. No studio had attempted something this ambitious before. If it failed, Marvel's entire strategy could collapse. The Avengers became a global phenomenon. Box office records fell. Merchandise sales exploded. Marvel transformed into an entertainment powerhouse. The company that once faced bankruptcy was now generating billions. Then came another historic moment. Disney acquired Marvel. The deal was worth billions of dollars. Some people thought Disney had overpaid. They were wrong. Marvel would become one of the most successful acquisitions in business history. The story of Marvel teaches us several powerful business lessons. First, great intellectual property can survive even the toughest financial crises. Second, sometimes the biggest opportunities appear when everyone else has lost faith. And third, the greatest rewards often come from taking calculated risks. Marvel risked everything on a vision, and that vision transformed a bankrupt comic book publisher into a global entertainment empire. If you enjoyed this documentary and want more stories about business, entrepreneurship, investing, and the companies that change the world, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell. It helps us continue creating in-depth documentaries like this one. I'm Ethan Cole. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.